Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome back to DCEASED Gotham City Outbreak, a Zombicide game. This is video part 2. We're going to go over all of the components and stuff in farther detail. If for some reason you didn't check out part 1 or want to know what it was, I just went over, I showed a quick idea of what the components were, and then we went through the rules for people that had never played Zombicide or the Marvel one for the first superhero, or hadn't picked up the Kickstarter or the main release of any of the DCeased stuff, and they wanted to know what the game was and how it played. So now we're gonna actually jump in. We're gonna look at the miniatures, all the different superheroes, their card, the spawn cards, take a little closer look at the boards, all that fun stuff. So hopefully that's what you're here for. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. We're gonna do the miniatures first. And that's what a lot of people want to see. Then if you're not really as interested in the rest of the stuff, you can go ahead and head on out. So here we have Batman. Good old Bruce Wayne. So just as a reminder that they do have the other version that was in Kickstarter of the DCeased game. We have a core set, and then we have a bunch of expansions. All these miniatures, or all the characters, are in other expansions. I think Batman and, I know Batman's in the base game. I think some of the other characters are all in Gotham City Knights. I think a couple of them are in the Arkham Asylum expansion. So you can get these characters and other things, but they have different abilities than this set, and they have different sculpts. So even if you pick up them, you might want to pick up this set just because in that way you get some new different versions of your favorite characters. So here we have a Batman. Definitely cool to have a little bit simpler bases than they'll have in the other set as well. We're just standing on top of some building, brooding while looking over the city. I am Batman. I am the vengeance. I am the knight. Alfred. Alright, what does good old Bats do for us? So he has a Batarangs as his basic attack. 0 to 1 range, a little bit of distance. We're going to move these boards out of the way here for a sec. Does 2 dice for 3 accuracy. So he's not going to do a ton of damage, but he's going to hit more often. In his blue ability as Bat Gadgets, once during your turn, you may spend 1 power to eliminate 1 walker within 1 range. Or spend 2 power to search the hero trait deck for any 1 card and take it, then shuffle your deck. So this is very good, because you can you gain 1 power every turn, no matter what. So bare minimum, he can always at least eliminate 1 walker. Which could just be a thing. You don't have to do it at the beginning of your turn. He could do all his attacks first and then decide, oh, I couldn't finish off 1 last guy. Let me just chuck 1 last Bat Gadget at a guy and take him out. Or, yeah, you can search for the very specific item or trait you want. So instead of just drawing a random one, you can actually just spend your action to draw randomly. You spend 2 to search for a specific one you want. So maybe Batman, you really need something for movement, or you need something that pushes enemies away, or various things. So, like, where are some of our traits? We're not going to go read them all really quick, but we could have something quick like slip through discard to ignore enemies when moving this turn. Or show of resolve, discard during your turn to spend 1 to heal a wound. So he could pick exactly what he needs for whatever scenario he's in, which is Batman. Follow up with that, he gets 1 action in yellow. In orange, he has always prepared. Each time a zombie hero spawns, you may perform 1 free action. So it doesn't care if they spawn next to you in a different zone or wherever they spawn. You get an additional free action. Again, this kind of goes with Batman's thing. He can defeat anybody if he's prepared. So as soon as he sees a bad guy appear, he's already figuring out how to take them out, putting himself in a different situation. His free action could be gaining 2 power, so he's ready for his next turn or his upcoming turn. Gets ready for that. He could move to a different position. He could open a door, set other guys up, grab an objective token, do a lot of different stuff. At the start of each enemy phase, you may spend 2 power to allow any 1 superhero to perform 1 free action. So that's also very cool. If you have these extra stuff, you could spend 2 to allow someone else to gain extra action. And if you kind of combine these, that could be really neat right? If you save up your points, zombie hero spawns on the board, oh look, Superman, he's standing near them, or like this set, Robin or Poison Ivy or Bane or whoever, they're close enough to where that guy spawned. They can always spend their action, spend 2 points to go ahead and do a free action right then, and maybe take that guy out immediately, or push him away, or use a trait or something could be very helpful. Then in red, he has Supreme Calculation. So red is the very last one on the dial. At the start of each enemy phase, you may draw 2 spawn cards. Select one and assign it to one spawn point instead of its usual card. Shuffle the others back into the deck. Again, preparation for Batman. This is kind of neat. It does kind of overall make him like a support character in this set. He's helping out everybody else, planning where things are going to go. But that's neat, because it doesn't have to be spawn point 1. It could be the third spawn point. It could be the blue spawn point if that's active. You could pick which ones. If, someone can take out a bunch of guys. Oh, we're going to get 5 walkers. Summon them next to Bane. He can go ahead and just take them out right away. He doesn't have any other threats. Or, same thing, you have an Abomination you could take out. Go ahead, or Abomination, the zombie hero. You spawn them close to a guy so they don't have to trek across the board to take them out. Let them do the damage right away while they still have power, they still have energy, or trait cards do, so they're not wasting them trying to get across the board. Vice versa, you can spawn, we're going to draw a bunch of runners either way. Put them across the board so they can't touch us. So it's really fun. Alright, up next we have good old Robin. This is Damian Wayne. Wayne? He's a Wayne's brother. Damian version. He has the Eskrima sticks, which is very different because usually that's Nightwing's thing. So it's kind of got like a little combination of both of these. So slight story spoilers for this would be, if you're familiar with, if you haven't read the DCEASED, I'm going to try not to spoil the storyline too much for anybody. But at the beginning of the story, and this is very early on, is that the outbreak happens, and Batman and Robin are off doing some different stuff. They're kind of hanging out together. Ivy and Harley are together, so that's why we have them, and then Bane is off doing something somewhere. So that's why those are the heroes that we get. So that way, if you've seen some of the other release set, you may have seen, again, there's a zombie Batman. There's some zombie versions of other characters later in the series. Some of these characters turn into zombies. Now, not every single version in these sets, just because they're a zombie, means that they're a zombie in the storyline. They had to make some creative changes. Some of the characters might not even actually appear. But yeah, so this is kind of why we're getting these two guys. And this is kind of the thing is why they're giving him the Eskrima stick should be, because, again, very early spoilers in the very first book of 5 is that Nightwing is one character that does fall. So this is Robin picking up his Eskrima sticks for that. So he has a melee range. Does 3 guys, but has 4 accuracy. So he's not going to hit as often, 4, 5, and 6s. It's still pretty decent. But he does get 3 smacks out of it. He starts with Beat Down in blue. When performing a melee attack, for each roll of 6 after any rerolls, roll +1 die. These dice may generate further additional dice roll. So that's actually pretty cool. So anytime you do a melee attack, and it's, even if he has a skill or an equipment or anything that lets him perform a melee attack, anytime he rolls a 6, he's going to get an additional die. So if he rolled all 3 dice and he rolled 3 6s, you get 3 more dice roll. So he basically combos down, which is pretty cool. In orange, Assassin's Training. Your target priority and you ignore target priority and ignore enemies when moving. Before attacking, you may spend 1 power to have enemies suffer -1 toughness against that attack. That's pretty cool. So he doesn't have to attack a zombie hero, then a brute, then a walker, then a runner. He could jump into the fray, take out the walker right away. Take out the runners right away if you're worried about them double actions. Or he could take out he rolled dice and he did 2 hits. So instead of taking out 1 brute, he could take out 2 walkers instead. So it's kind of cool. Also, he doesn't have to spend points when moving around, so he can get across the board a little bit quicker. And then before attacking, he can spend his 1 power he gains every turn anyhow. All of enemies suffer -1 toughness down to 1. So that means all your brutes now only cost 1 to take out, and your villains, your zombie heroes, all cost 1 less. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't make walkers or runners any cheaper. But it does help you get the bigger guys, so that's pretty cool. He can get around, he can target whoever he needs to target. So that way, if there's a zombie hero in the zone, he can still take out any of the other guys. Mantra of Vengeance. You gain +1 attack action. Each time you enter a zone, you may eliminate a horde zombie there. So anyone that's not a zombie hero. Yes, Robin here is just going to be pouncing around, taking out guys left and right. Take out a guy here, take out a guy there. Gains extra action. He can, since he only gets that, he gains 1 power every turn, he can use his assassin trait every turn. The only reason he'd need to save it up is if he has trait cards that need them, or has a bystander that needs it. Whereas Batman had, he needs 1 for that, or 2 for that, or 2 for that. So he's going to maybe spend action points to gain extra. And Robin could even go ahead and spend an action point, gain 2 extra power, be up to 3, or be up to 4, and then he has it built up for a couple of turns. So there's no reason for him not to use his assassin thing. And plus, if he has 4, he can make 4 attacks, and yet every time he attacks, he can spend it the next time. So he does it for the first one to get -1, spend it the second time to get -1. So that's pretty cool there. Our third member of the Bat family is Batgirl. Now this is Cassandra King. It's not confused. Most people know Barbara Gordon is Batgirl. This is Cassandra King. So she's also kind of like an assassin. So it might make sense why they survived, such a little rooftop there. Like the top of like a water tower. And she's got like a stitched on match. So she was trained by some assassins. Which is really cool. So she has martial artists. So now this is one thing we're going to see a lot of, is some of the basic abilities do tend to repeat. But she has 2 and 3. So this is basically about the equivalent of the Batarang, just in melee form. In blue, Stealth Mastery. Once during each enemy phase, when enemies enter your zone, you may spend 1 power to perform 1 free move action, ignoring enemies. Cool. So this is basically, if they get, she can be meleeing guys, and if they get near her, she can get a free movement away from them whenever they enter her zone. So she doesn't have to worry about trying to dodge all the way away as long as she keeps one. So if they get extra activations in there, she at least has a chance to escape. In orange, she has Dashing Strikes. Each time you enter or exit a zone, you may eliminate 1 horde zombie. That's really cool with the Stealth Mastery, because that means she could potentially, they move into her zone, spend a point, exit out, she takes 1 guy out with her. Then depending on what happened, if they were a group that, like, maybe she moved, like a guy moved to the left of her, like, into the zone, like, behind her, so they're done moving, and then a guy on the right side moves into her zone, she could move back to the left, take out the guy that moved into her zone, and take out one of the guys on the other side too. So it's pretty neat. She could, run through, or if she has if we have a trait card that has a double movement, which I'm sure we do. Might not have one in here. I could have swore we would have had one. I don't see it, but yeah, and there might be more in some of the expansions or the full game. Might be a couple extra, but yeah, if you have something that gave you like an extra movement point, or a ally that gives you an extra movement point, right, and she can move through multiple spots, she could do some extra good damage there. I was just checking really quick. No, I didn't see any, but Yeah, there might be other allies. Someone might give you an additional movement point or something. Yeah, it should be kind of cool. Then she has in red body rate. Each time an enemy in your zone attacks, roll a die. On a 3+, prevent that attack. If the enemy is a horde zombie, eliminate them. So it's kind of neat. Batman's gonna prep stuff. Robin's gonna be running around taking things out left and right by doing damage. Batgirl's gonna kind of be more getting to your objectives, because she moves through stuff and she can get in your enemies. She can either take them out, move away from them, take them out when she moves through the zones, prevent damage, possibly take out some extra ones. Yeah, defend herself. She's gonna be kind of like getting into the fray, not doing as much damage, but maybe just rushing through to do objectives. So that's pretty cool. Then we have some villains. We have Bane. Actually, don't even know what Bane's real name is, to be honest. But here we have big old Bane here. Standing on a rock. There's big old Bane canisters. So it just adds also a comparison to like Batman. Obviously up on a little ledge a little bit. But yeah, he's definitely hulking size bigger than Batman. You know, quite a bit bigger than Robin. So they did make them relatively size proportionate, which is really nice. So what does Bane do? Bane has a couple of things. First of all, he has 4 hit points. Everyone else so far has had 3. Bane has 4. He's a little bit more of a tank for that reason. He has Crushing Might. 2 guys, 3 accuracy. So, you know, different game, same exact effect as martial arts. They can only do so much with each character for that reason. But he has Venom Fueled. You have 4 health. At the start of each round, you gain an additional power. Oh, so that'll be fun. But he doesn't have any like extra abilities right off the bat. The other guys have stuff they can do. He just gets an extra power every turn. Backbreaker, you gain +1 attack action. Once during your turn, you may spend any number of power and roll a die. On a 2+, deal a number of hits equal to the power spent to one enemy in your zone. Oh, so that is fun. So he's going to be able to use his power to just generate gains of extra attack already, but he's going to be able to bonus up on his actually on +2 deal number of hits equal to it. So he just has to roll a 2 to do an additional, just do a bunch of extra things. So if he has 4 power, he could spend all 4, roll at least a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So anything other than a 1, and he could take out a big guy really easily. Again, if you're only fighting like a brute, you only need to spend 1. Or if you roll, if you roll anything, you could definitely take out some more. Just another thing to note with the power, and I didn't forget to mention this in the rules video, but each time a superhero performs an attack before rolling, they may spend any number of their power they possess to add that many dice to their attack. So with like both Batgirl and Robin, they didn't have a lot of abilities that spent their power, so they could add some extra dice. Bane here gaining an additional 1 every turn. So if he didn't care about using his backbreaker because there's weaker enemies, he could spend it to gain additional dice. So he gets 2 every turn. So he could spend 2 to basically roll 4 dice on every attack, every turn if he wants. Then Ready as Rampage. After attacking with Crushing Might, if there are no enemies left in your zone, you may perform 1 free move action. Then perform 1 Crushing Might attack. This may trigger further moves and attacks. So that's cool, right? So yeah, he can run through, he can basically, if he defeats Crushing Might, he defeats the last guy, he gets a free move, moving to a spot, hope with more enemies. From a free one, take out possibly more. You can also spend more power in that and add it up. So if like there's 1 walker left in the 1 zone, do your attack, roll your 2 dice, take him out. Great. Now moving to the next one, there's a group of guys, spend your 3 power, roll 3 extra dice. Oh, sweet, we took all them out. You know, you could be like, oh, I don't have any, I only have 1 more action. I can move in there, get my free thing, do another extra attack, right? Oh, maybe it was your last action. You could still move and get a free attack, but you're not going to be able to take out all the rest if that doesn't attack work. Move back a zone, right? Then now all the guys have to come towards you. So there's some definitely cool stuff there. Alright, we're going to look at Poison Ivy, Pamela Isley. So she's going to have a really cool looking base here, some plants on it. Ooh. Come on. There we go. Yeah, she's got some roots and some plants growing. Very cool. What does Pamela do? So we've had melee, Batman's been our ranged. Poison Ivy's our other ranged character. She has Lashing Vines. 0 to 1, 3 with 4 accuracy. She has Vine Grab. Once during your turn, spend 1 power to push one other superhero, bystander, or enemy within 1 range up to 2 zones. So although it says the word push, in the context of this game, push can either mean away or towards you. You can push a guy towards you. The only time it makes a difference is if the game specifically says away or towards. So this one you could bring a superhero bystander or to you to get them away from something else. Or you could push them out of the zone, or same thing. If an enemy, you could either shove them, bring them towards you so you could attack them without them to move, or you could shove them away. So it's kind of a very good, helpful hinder thing, which is really neat. In orange, we have Overgrowth. While attacking with Lashing Vines, which is your main attack, you may spend 1 power to replace your base dice with 1 die for each horde, zombie, and target zone before any bonus. This ignores zombie heroes for this attack. So that's kind of cool. You can take, if there's 5 walkers in the zone, now you can roll 5 dice instead. So the more guys there are, she can do a lot more dice, potentially doing a lot more damage. But then she cannot target heroes. So if she also rolls 5 dice and she gets 5 hits, she can't take out the Joker, for example, or Killer Croc or whoever, regardless of how many dice she rolls. So it's kind of, you can't, but again, since you're automatically ignoring, it also means you ignore the priority for them. Unleash the Green. Once during your turn when attacking with Lashing Vines, you may also perform 1 free Lashing Vines attacks in each zone adjacent to the target zone. So that's neat too. So Overgrowth lets you do a lot of damage to one zone, or once during your turn, you could opt to hit all the adjacent zones around you. So she can basically spread out and do like a chain type attack, which would be really cool. You can do less damage, but again, she can spend power to roll more dice. If she has 4, she can roll up to 7 dice. And then hit 7 dice in 7 dice in the one zone, but then it's just a free lashing zone against each one you'd have to roll a different one. So either 7 and 1, or you can spend 1 power for each of them and do 4 dice in each different zone. Just depending on how many zombies are there. But that could help you eliminate more guys in a wider range. That's really fun. Our last playable survivor is good old Harley Quinzel. Harley Quinn in her classic jester outfit. Move that out of the way. Maybe that's just distracting. There we go. From her DC animated, she's got the diamonds on there. She's got her big old mallet. Very sassy looking. Alright, what does Harley do? She has a melee mallet attack. She has a bonk for blue. Once during your turn, you may eliminate 1 walker or runner in your zone, or spend 1 power to eliminate 1 brute. So, yeah, it'll be very helpful. You always get 1 every turn. So, regardless, 1 guy every turn, no matter what. If there's long in her zone, she sticks close to guys. But she could also take out a brute every turn if she needed to. In orange, we have Mallet Spin. Once during each of your turn after attacking with Mallet, you may spend 1 power to push all enemies in your zone into adjacent zones. So here's push, for example, but it says where you have to push them. So you don't have the option of bringing them wherever you want. But after attacking with your mallet, you may spend 1 power to push all enemies in your zone to adjacent zone. Then you may perform 1 free move action. This is kind of a neat one as well, because what you can do there is hit with mallet. Oh no, we didn't finish them all off. spend your power to shove all of them away from you. So now you're free. And then in case there's runners or a zombie hero and they have 2 actions, you could move the opposite direction or move into a doorway, like into a building or around a corner so they can't see you. So they might even attack someone in a different direction. Across the board they can see. So that's kind of, or you could opt to then, like, your first action, mallet spin, whack guys, spend the power, push everyone into a next zone, then move into that zone, and now you can roll dice, spend more power, roll more dice, or using an equipment card or something. But now there's more enemies. Maybe there's only one guy left. Push him into one guy left. Push him to the next zone. So that way, if you roll your 3 dice and you get 3 hits, you're not wasting your extra hits, right? That'd be kind of cool too. And then in Reg, we have Psychotic Therapist. Once during your turn, you may have all superheroes within 1 range draw 1 heroic trait. Then you may perform 1 free mallet attack. Cool. So there's obviously no reason not to have guys do that. Have everyone draw a card, and then plus what also works with this is it works with her just always spending your heroic traits, because then you can keep using them to do extra bonuses and stuff, because you can now draw 1 every turn no matter what. Plus you get free mallet attacks. So she wants to kind of stick into the thick of it, where you had Batman playing stuff and then Robin running in and doing like little melee and cleanup damage. Like Harley and Ivy can work very well as a team as well. Ivy can like be doing extra damage to guys in a zone. Harley can maybe be pushing them guys together so that way Ivy can do more damage. So again, she gets to roll dice for every zombie in there. Now imagine Harley shoved a group of 5 guys into another group of 5 guys. Now she's rolling 10 dice. Possibly take out all of them. Or move a guy so that they're adjacent so that her vine lips can hit multiple guys. So you guys can definitely do some cool team-ups. Alright, those are our 6 heroes. What's with their villains? Let's start with everyone's favorite Joker. So here the Joker has 3 health. So when these guys get summoned versus a spawn card, the Joker he is last in target priority. So even though normally the heroes are first, he'll be last. At the end of his activation, spawn a runner in his zone. So he's going to just keep creating more zombie menaces. There's tackling pose on top of we'll call it an Ace Chemical Barrel. That's definitely a neat pose. I think you see Joker, I always kind of have him like just standing straight up, maybe with like a cane, or he has his gun out. Just maniacal Joker is really cool. But yeah, he has 3 health. So not super terribly hard to kill. If we just kind of look at their attacks, Harley can roll 3 dice. She rolls 3 dice. Bane only does 2. He does 3. So all the melee characters, so most of the characters, 3 of them do 3 damage. So if they roll perfect on all 3 dice, they could take out one of the heroes. But the other guys won't. But then again, that's why you have to spend power, right? You have to spend. But the thing is, you roll 2 dice, you only do 2 hits at most if you get accuracy, right? So with those guys, you might opt to be like, I'm gonna roll 5 dice just in case, so I can potentially get some misses. Up next, we have Catwoman. She also has 3 health. So if any superheroes have equipment cards, she spawns in the closest zone containing a superhero with an equipment card. So yeah, she doesn't have an active ability going on, but the fact is, you might have to worry, if you also have to now worry about a potential big threat spawning right on top of you with 2 actions. It's also, I like the picture frame, that's kind of cool. But it's also a neat costume. She has like this garter belt, and then she has like this top that kind of swoops down. It's definitely not her standard costume, which is really cool. But yeah, so this could be again like, if you know Catwoman's one of the potential villains you might draw, you might be like, okay, we have 1 equipment right now. We picked up the grapnel. equipment card, who do we give it to? Like, oh, it might benefit Batman the most, but he has 2 hits already. He can't afford Catwoman to also drop on top of him. So he might be like, let's give it to Bane. That way if she spawns, Bane, he can backbreak her and take her out right away. So you could have an option like that. Might be tricky. Alright, speaking of big bag threats, we have Killer Croc, Waylon Jones. Of course, Catwoman's Selena Kyle. So Killer Croc has 4 health, but he says he gains an additional action and toughness at the orange or red danger level. So as soon as someone hits orange, he becomes more of a threat. Now he does 3 actions, and he has an additional toughness. No other abilities beyond that, like Joker spawn stuff. But that's going to be hard. So if you're drawing a hero card, like, you got tutorial mission, a guy starts. If he starts, you have 4 health. Not that big of a threat. Doesn't do anything. Catwoman's that first hero in that tutorial mission where a guy starts on the board. Not a big threat, because she doesn't spawn, so she doesn't do anything extra there. Joker, on the other hand, big issue, because while he's on the board, he's going to constantly keep spawning a runner every turn. So kind of might depend on early, late game, when guys do come in. So let's look at his miniature. Well, there he is in his ferocity. Oh, the ripped pants is standing on like a sewer pipe. I like that, like, flesh wounds in the back. Gosh, I started painting miniatures and I just see some of these and I'm like, one hand it's like, oh, they're going to be awesome to paint. The other hand I'm like, oh gosh, having to try and paint some of these details. Little hit, especially the bases. Alright, their 4th super villain is back to have a hero. We have one of the Bat family. We have the Huntress. Helena. I want to say it starts with a B. But I can't. My brain immediately went to Bonham Carter from... That's not right. Anywho, she has 3 health as well. She can attack from range 1 each time she attacks. Roll a dice. 5+, any superhero wounded by her attack loses all their power. Ooh, so again, this is a threat because now you have to like worry about her being able to hit you from an extra range with 2 things. So she only has to be 1 space away from you. She can attack you twice. Or she'll move, and then she can attack. So you have to essentially almost be 3 spaces away from her. And if she does roll, if she does attack you, if you take a wound, you might potentially lose all your power as well. Which could, like, some of the guys, like, yeah, you might be saving them up for attacks and stuff, which would really suck no matter who. But, like, Batman, who uses it for a lot of stuff, that'd be an extra big wound. And some of these abilities just kind of be like the mental game of having to attack one of your friends or family member. Oh, slanted roof. All the pouches and her torn up cape. So that's pretty cool. Those are our playable and main characters. So let's look at our spawn deck quick. We'll fly through this. So we're gonna have a bunch of walkers. So they're spawn at 9, 7, 3, and 2. A 7, 5, 3, and 2. 5, 6, 4, and 2. 9, 7, 4, 3. 9, 8, 6, 4. And 8, 6, 5, and 3. So these are going to be our spawns. We get 10 of these. We get more than 10 of these. There's our little miniature for them. So they're going to look like that guy. We get 30 walkers, so there's going to be a lot of walkers in this game that will spawn. We get the standees, double-sided here, same thing. We get the standees. It's kind of theme for Joker and Ace Chemical for this versus the regular game. Our main zombies were LexCorp. We get his miniature, so it's kind of the difference there. But we get some clown walkers. It's kind of neat, a little bit different in case you don't want, in case you want something, you want a little cheaper ones. So then we have Walker Rush. So they'll spawn 8, 6, 4, and 2. So they spawn, but then now they activate. Let's see, 8 walkers spawn on the board. Now that each get to move a space. This isn't so bad if it's on the outside of the board. they spawn in a building. Some of the buildings, I mean, they're going to be right on top of you on the next turn. So some of you have to kind of watch out for. We get a second one, which has a little bit different spawn. So 8, 6, 3, and 3. So a little less, a little bit dangerous, a little bit lower on. Then we get our brutes, which are big giant clowns. And we get 10 of these guys. So there's another little miniature standee. And of course, these guys are like height-wise compared to like the characters. They're not like really into scale. They weren't trying to be. They're just on there so you see who they are. Yeah, so you guys 5, 4, 1, 1. So you guys don't spawn as much at lower levels. 5, 4, 3, 1. 4, 3, 2, 2. 5, 3, 1, 3. So there's also not as many of those, which is why there's less. But they also get a rush card at 4, 3, 2, and 1. And 5, 4, 3, and 2. Then we have our runners, who are just various circus performer ladies. Kind of a face paint on. And we get 10 of those as well. So you have 5, 5, 1, 1, 4, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 5, 3, 3, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 5, 2, 2. They do not get a rush card, because having a rush with a runner would just be the worst thing ever. Because at least if a zombie gets a rush, like right, they spawn in the door right next to you, and they get an extra activation. All its activation does is it moves them into their zone. So like, they're not attacking you, but now you're stuck with a bunch of zombies on top of you. Same thing as a brute. If runners got to, they can move on top of you, then they also get an attack, which would be very bad. Yeah, so these are pretty good. Now, I don't know if these numbers are going to be the exact same numbers as the other ones. So I don't know if these are a little bit easier numbers than the regular base game, or if they're the exact same ones, just with different pictures on the front. If we look on the back, though, they have the LexCorp zombies, so they can be mixed right in. They also don't have numbers on them anymore. The old ones used to always have, like, card 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't know why they got rid of those specifically. It might have just been maybe for this set, so that way, if the core set's listed 1 through this, then you know the ones that aren't listed are for this game. Might be as simple as that. Then we have some new special cards. These are not in the previous versions. We have Horde. So it says spawn all enemies listed at the current danger level and all levels below that. So if you're at 4, at blue you get 4 walkers. If you're at yellow, you get a brute and 4 walkers. If you're at orange, you get a runner, a brute, and 4 walkers. And if you happen to be at red, you get a zombie hero plus each one of the other ones. And we get 2 copies of that. So that's actually a really fun extra card. I have to worry about Horde. The other Zombicide game that did Horde was Black Plague, was Green Horde that did it, but part of the fantasy Zombicide. But that was every time you spawned certain zombies, they went to a special Horde location. Then when you drew a Horde card, all of them came in. So depending on when that Horde card came up, you could have gotten 2, you could have gotten 15, just depending on when. This is a little bit simpler mechanic for that. Then we have these neat charge cards, which are also brand new to the Zombicide games. So it says, for walkers, it says spawn either 6, 5, 4, and 3. Then all walkers move. Then each zone containing superheroes replace 1 walker there with a runner. So these guys come in, they get a movement towards everybody. Then they get to change it. If they happen to be a spot of a superhero, they end up becoming runners. So now that means the next turn, they have the multiple activations. And then we have crushing charge, so 2, 2, 1, 1 for the brutes. Spawn, then all brutes move. Then each zone containing brutes, one superhero must discard 1 hero trait or suffer a wound. So when these guys rush in, doing a charge attack, they're basically ramming into you. It's kind of like the walkers kind of they charge into, they're getting a head start, they become runners. These guys get to do a wound you. And then we have runners with a suppressive charge, so 2-2-1-1. Spawn all runners move up to 2 zones, then each zone containing runners. All superheroes there lose 1 extra power. So crazy, they get across the board. Then we have a neat one here is the anti-life pulse. The anti-life is what's turning them all into zombies. Says there are no zombie heroes on the board. Spawn 1 zombie hero. All zombie heroes perform 1 move action. Then all superheroes within 2 ranges of the zombie hero lose 1 power and must discard 1 trait. So it's kind of like, oh no, I just saw this person become, they're a zombie, and it kind of like you suffer for it. And then we have some zombie hero spawn cards. Now, they did change these up as well from the Marvel one. Marvel did not have the additional spawns. They just spawned a zombie hero. They're making these guys even more of a threat. So spawn a zombie hero plus the indicated walker. So either 8, 2, 2, or 1. Then we have one that does 6, 5, 3, and 2. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And 5, 5, 2, and 2. I think the other distinction for this versus Marvel, and again without having seen every single spawn card from the other set, but even just looking at this, is other than Bane, the other ones all have 3, and they don't have too many crazy powers. Because in the DCEASED universe, when you become a zombie, you become you're full of just trying to kill things. You're mindless. So they didn't want to give them like a bunch of extra superpowers, or they didn't do special things. It was pretty straightforward what they could do. So this is the idea then to make up for the zombie heroes kind of being a little bit weaker or less powerful. I think then they add extra zombies coming in to make them more of a threat. So it's not as powerful heroes, but more zombies coming in. Where the Marvel ones, they still retain their minds. So they have a more special abilities, like they might do extra damage, or they just spend a power, or like they do, like when they come in, they might force a hero to spend a power or do this thing. So they were more challenging to fight. So they felt more almost on par of like you were fighting another superhero versus just a stronger minion. So that's what they did those for. Alright, let's look at, we'll have some cool characters. Let's look at our bystanders. Alright, so the back of the bystanders we'll show here. We got some Metropolis guys. Lois, Jimmy, and Lana, I think that is. But for this, we have our miniatures. I'm not going to pull out each standee for each one of them. They're going to look just like that. They're going to look like regular character card. In the actual game, though, you actually get miniatures for these guys. So it's just pretty cool. Here, they just replace them with standees. Again, make the game a little bit cheaper, smaller. So if we have Alfred Pennyworth, when he is rescued, draw 1 random equipment card and heroic trait. So cool. So you rescue him, you get some bonus. And after that, he doesn't really help you. If we have Barbara Gordon here, Oracle says once during your turn, you may spend 2 power to take any 1 hero card from the discard pile. So like Batman had the ability to search for stuff. This kind of gives, although he could search the deck, Oracle's going to let you search the discard pile, but lets you reuse some very powerful ones. This is really nice. We have James Gordon, Commissioner James Gordon. Each time a zombie hero is eliminated or a bystander is rescued, draw 1 heroic trait. These guys will help you keep using them traits a lot. Lucius Fox, working for Wayne Enterprises. Each time you perform a power-up action, gaining additional. So power-up action, again, gets you 2 power. It'll let you gain an additional 1. So this would be really great for Batman, who wants to spend a bunch. Or Bane, who might need it for powering up his backbreaker attack. And then, again, anyone can spend these on dice. But lots of the other guys don't need them for lots of their regular thing. They're just for extra guys. He could be helpful for spending extra abilities. Harvey Bullock, part of the police. Before attacking, you may discard 1 heroic trait to roll 2 extra dice. So if you have something that gives you an extra move, or lets you bypass enemies, or heal, and you don't need to do that stuff at the time, damage might be worth it. And then finally, interesting, I do like this, we have Carmen Falcone, so like one of the mobsters. So although bystanders are lots of your friends or allies, they're sometimes your enemies. But hey, you know, zombie apocalypse, you might want to get in bed with your enemies. Once during your turn, you may discard a hero trait, perform a free power-up action. So again, just depends on what they're doing. Also in here, you might run into, instead of a bystander, you might get too late. Instead of spawning a bystander, spawn one walker in a zone. If the danger level is orange, orange or red, spawn a runner instead. So instead of finding a bystander, oh, I opened up the door. It wasn't, you know, Robin hanging out and there's a bystander, or Alfred hanging out in the back cave. It was a zombie. Then they also have secret mission number 1, see mission rules, and secret mission number 2. So some cards might have you have these in there or exclude them, or add these into the deck, and then you might end up having a secret mission instead, which is kind of neat. And they'll just have various rules that give you optional abilities for that. Alright, up next we have equipment cards, which show there's the ones from the base game. An axe, Lexcore armor, communicator, a tear gas bomb, I think. But for this one, we're going to have the batarang. And as you pick up more sets, you get more equipment, you mix them, you get different options for stuff, which is really neat. Again, you can only have one equipped at a time, but you can carry many. So, like, Batman could be running around with 5 equipment cards, but you can only use one at a time. So you might pick them all up, carry them, then run into all the rest of the team, pass them all out. So we have Batarang, gives you additional ranged attacks. So, like, again, Batman starts with Batarangs, same exact stats, but, like, Robin doesn't. Maybe you want to give Robin a ranged attack, so that way he can be ranged attack until he gets close enough to do melee. So it says, before attacking with this, you may spend 1 additional power to eliminate a walker in the targeted zone. So that's kind of cool. Again, you could give this to someone to spend extra stuff. We have a stun rod, part of Gotham. Police like to use these. So 0 range, melee. Of course, 2 dice, 3 damage. So basically the same stats as the Batarang, except now it's not ranged. When attacking with this, each roll of 6 deals 2 hits to a single enemy target. So yeah, if you're rolling a lot of 6s, this could be really cool. I just want to also look at Robin for this. So Robin says, after performing a melee attack, that's a melee attack. You can give him stun rods instead of his skirmish sticks. For each roll of 6, roll +1 die. And then for every roll of 6, you also deal 2 hits to a single enemy. So yeah, you gave this to Robin. Yeah, although he has a dice attack here that does 3 dice and does 4. And this only does 2, so he's going to roll less dice in general, like 1 less die. But he has a little bit better accuracy. He could potentially, but who cares about that? If you're just trying to roll 6s anyhow, because he could roll an extra die for every 6, plus do an extra 2 hits to a single enemy, so he could take out a lot more guys quicker. We get the Joker's crowbar, 3 and 4 for our dicing accuracy. Each time you eliminate a brute or a zombie hero, you may perform a free power-up action. So this is again meant to take out bigger guys. You know, it's if you eliminate, it doesn't matter. Each time this eliminates, you have to use that ability. So like where Bane has his backbreaker, that wouldn't work. But you could give him to Robin. Robin could be using Joker's crowbar, right? If he rolls a bunch of 6s, he'd get more dice. But if he takes out one of the big guys, he gets a free power-up action. Huntress's crossbow. Huntress's fallen bow, you get pick up her crossbow to use. Gives another guy a ranged attack. After completing a move action, you may spend 1 power to perform this free attack with this. So this might be neat for Harley Quinn, because she has some of them extra move abilities. Where was Harley at? Yeah. So, like, Mallet Spin. You may push all enemies, perform 1 free move action, then you can do a free ranged out of that. Batgirl would get a lot of use out of this as well. spend 1 to perform 1 free move action. After completing a move action, spend an additional 1 to do an extra free attack with this. Yeah, so she did some extra stuff there. So yeah, some interesting things you could do with them, guys. Certain weapons might benefit other characters a little bit better. We have the utility belt. Discard this during your turn to search for a hero traits for any 1 card and take it, then shuffle the deck. So kind of like Batman's ability, just gives it to anybody for 1 quick action. It's neat that they have these items here that aren't just attacks, right? This is some extra stuff, might help you in a pinch. We have the grapnel. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 power for 1 free move action, ignoring enemies. Now, you can't, unfortunately, again, you can't have 2 equipment, so you can't combine this with the Huntress's crossbow. But you could do some cool stuff there. Again, with Batgirl, right? Each time you enter or exit a zone, you may eliminate 1 horde. So spend this. Spend 1 from 1 free move action, ignoring enemies. So you're in a zone with zombies, zip out of them, zip to another group, take out 2 guys, then start performing some attacks. Then we also have possibly drawing equipment. Nope, you got ambush. Spawn 1 walker in the zone, and then draw another equipment card. Or we have Secret Mission 1 and Secret Mission 2, again, which might lead to the missions. Now, I take a factor in both things, because if you have a secret mission, it might depend on which deck you need to draw from. Alright, kind of like equipment is we have our bat signals. So we have a reference card for that. We do get a little token. So this will go on the board somewhere, either white side or dark side. It says once per game, spend 1 action in its zone to turn the bat signal on. All superheroes gain 1 power and draw 1 hero trait. Treat enemies the whip bat signal, or enemies treat the whip bat signal as a superhero and remove it when it is attacked. This is kind of neat. So basically what it's going to do, it's going to be in 1 position on the board somewhere. It's not movable. But you turn it on, hey, we get a jump in, we also get a power, get a hero trait, and now it's going to draw all enemies. This could be great for the end of the game, like, hey, we need escape over here, so turn this on, run away from it, all enemies are going to come towards it. Or just you need to eliminate everybody, draw them all closer. Yeah, very cool. Alright, then the last thing we want to go over for this video are our heroic trait cards. So there's 2 copies of each of these. And again, you're going to draw these. We could potentially get an ambush, spawn a walker in a zone, then draw another heroic trait. But these will be abilities you can have. You can have 2 at a time. We have Unleash Fury. Discard before attacking. Each roll of 6 or after any rerolls, roll +1 die. These guys may generate further additional dice. So this gives you abilities that some of these guys might have. Like Robin has this ability. Now anyone could have this. We have Power Up. Discard during your turn to perform 1 free Power Up action. Tenacious. Discard after attacking to reroll any dice. Some guy might need to roll a lot of dice for, Poison Ivy's trying to do a big attack to roll like 6 dice because this guy's going to roll really bad. Reroll again. Or Robin wants to get a lot of 6s. He didn't roll enough 6s. Reroll again. We have Slip Through. Discard during your turn to ignore enemies when moving this turn. Gets you through stuff. Show of Resolve. Discard during your turn and spend 1 to heal 1 wound. Healing's going to be important. Bypass defenses. Discard before attacking to spend 1 to have enemies suffer -1 toughness against this attack. So again, we've seen that with other people, but helpful there. We have Take the Lead. If you're the first superhero to take a turn this round, discard during your turn to perform 1 free action. Bide your time. If you're the last superhero to take during this turn, perform 1 free action. So again, depending on which ones. Now, unfortunately, you can't pass these traits around between guys. Empowered Strike. Discard before attacking and spend 1 power to roll +3 dice. So again, some of these are going to be Batman can search for the specific one he needs, which could be very helpful. Other guys, though, like again, if they don't have a lot of energy or power spending abilities, might utilize these a lot more often. guys that have a bunch of abilities, they might not really care about hero traits as much. They might get one if they have nothing else to do, so they have it ready to go. But the problem is you don't want to like have Bane grab one, not needing it because he's going to be doing other stuff, and then nobody else has access to that ability. So you might end up wanting to spend some of these, even if you don't really need to, just so that way it goes back to the discard so someone could draw it. Oh, there's 2 copies, so as long as there's one in there, you know it's coming. Into the Fray, discard during your turn to spend 1 power. Perform 1 free move action, move up to 2 zones ignoring enemies. Into a zone containing enemies, then perform 1 free attack targeting that zone. That's really cool. Basically combine a move and an attack into 1 action. Stand your ground. Discard when enemies move into your zone from 1 free attack action targeting the zone. They move in. Nice. Maybe take out a bunch of them before they can do anything. Especially for runners, right? They move. They do an action first to move. Then they do a second action, so they don't get double action right away. Hold them back. Discard to spend 1 power. When a horde zombie would move into your zone, they do nothing for this action instead. So you can keep them from jumping into your zone. Rally allies. Discard during your turn to have all other superheroes within range gain 1 power. Early on, this could be really great. Everyone's still together. Give everyone a boost right off the bat. Late game, coming together, trying to survive. Then the last one we have is Offer Aid. Discard to allow one of the superhero in zone perform 1 free power-up action, then draw 1 hero trait. So yeah, sacrificing your action on your turn to, or discarding this card to help out another character could be very helpful. Cool. So that is what we have for those cards. So yeah, really neat. 2 copies of each of those. So you have some different options. Last thing we want to look at are the boards. I don't want to spend a ton of time on these, but we do want to take a quick look at them. Alright, so we're going to look at Wayne Manor really quick. So yeah, we just got, so there's our base room for Wayne Manor when you enter it. We have like the foray. So there's some stairs here you can go up. Each little thing's a separate section, so 6 different zones here. You can't look down over the balcony. It's a higher range. And then there's a little thing here, so you can use that. Some of these will lead that into like the Bat Cave. Yeah, then we have like their spots down here. Just there's a little bit of detail here and there, but there's not always enough extra stuff. Let's look at water. We have our left wing, I guess it would be. Here we have like the study. Little area where they're kind of hanging out. It's just like struggle everywhere. We have an armory. Like statue armory. I wish there was a little bit more detail for like the characters for everything, but they didn't really do that as much. This side we have the other side of the house. We have another like reading rest area, fireplace. Then we have the bedrooms. Now I wish, again, here's something I wish they had more like things that indicate maybe like whose bedroom was which. We have 4 bedrooms. We have a red, blue, green, and yellow. Guess would be, assuming these are, you know, the main Batman. So red's probably Batman. Blue's probably Nightwing. Green is probably Robin. And yellow is probably Batgirl. Would be like the general 4 different kind of colors. But there's nothing in each room to like indicate it. And that's one thing I kind of didn't like about these boards. The X-Men, when they did the X-Mansion, they had little hints like, oh, that's Iceman's room, that's Wolverine's room, and I kind of wish they would have done that with these as well. I mean, Daniel's in this guy for maybe this is Batgirl's room. There are mirrors, you know, which make more sense for typically a female character. We want to have more mirrors, but yeah, otherwise there's nothing that really indicates other than just kind of like Nightwing having a bluish theme, Robin's kind of having a green theme. But there's nothing that I see in here that just stands out as being, sorry, they're a little bit better focus there. It stands out there. I mean, there's a gramophone in the blue room, so, you know, they're all the same size beds. There's nothing extra extra special in there, unfortunately. Then we have the Bat Cave, which we come down the Bat Pole, which links to one of the tiles. And the different missions might have it linked to different ways. We have some zombies that'll spawn in there. Then the Bat Computer. Now, if you get Gotham City Knights, you will get these same 4 tiles as well, but they'll have a left and a right for the Bat Cave as well. So you actually get 2 more tiles for the Bat Cave, which is really cool. So it expands that out a little bit more. This one, you only get the 1. If we flip these over, we're going to get some of our Gotham tiles, which they made, watch, like neon green glowing colors, which is kind of interesting. So this is our watchtowers. So this is the, like, we're oracling this. There's like the clock hand there. It's how you kind of know that. The spiral staircase, it would go up. I don't know if there's another watchtower tile. I don't think they did, but they did. That'd be kind of cool if they had like another floor that's like a separate tile, so you could like go up the watchtower. That'd be kind of a neat little mechanic as well, but I don't know if they did that. Oh, this is kind of like a square room. This one here, we have Wayne Enterprises. It's on the outside. They kind of give you the idea of what buildings they are, but they don't always have a lot of stuff inside. It's really like Easter eggy. I mean, I could always be missing stuff, but yeah, fairly easy room. This only has the 2 different entrances or exits, I guess. Then we have the Ace Chemicals, Joker's Hangout. Has again like the 2 different exits, but this one, yeah, has a little bit different layout. You know, same. The other one had 5 rooms. This one has 5 rooms, but they're just shaped differently. Because the other one, you came into this one, you can get to all 4. This one, you come into here, you're going to have access to 2, or this one, you have access to 3. So you don't have access to everything as quickly. But yeah, I don't think there's any like, I don't know, like some chattering teeth or Joker fish or something would have been kind of neat. Oh, there's the bat window crashed into the side of the building. That's fun. I didn't notice that right away. And then the last tile is we have Crime Alley. So everyone knows Crime Alley. It's where Batman's parents died. So this actually does make for a neat tile because we have the middle zone, but there's like the roses. Very significant or notable. Otherwise, nothing else really special about the rest of this tile that I see. But yeah, so that's pretty cool there. So those are our different tiles for the game. That was DCEASED Gotham City Outbreak. So this is, again, the retail set, which is a little bit, they save some money by having less tiles. Versus the other stuff. Lots of standees for the zombies and the bystanders. The miniatures are a little bit scaled down. They still have pretty decent and cool bases, but I think they're toned down a little bit. But again, yeah, all these exact characters are available in all the other sets, the named characters, but their cards are different. Their ability cards will all be different. Their miniatures will be different sculpts. So it's like if you bought the Kickstarter stuff, or if you pick up one of the other sets, and you're like, oh, what's this set? Should I pick this up? You are getting different characters in there. All the equipment, though, was also available. The equipment and the tiles are also available in the Gotham Knights expansion. The characters are spread over several sets. The bystanders are all from the Gotham Knights expansion. If you pick that, you're going to get a lot of repeats. If you make custom games, you can mix and match the tiles, though, of course. The power-up cards, though, the hero trait cards, these will all be in the base game. I think there might be a couple new ones in there as well. Same thing with all the spawn cards. They should be the same. They might have different numbers than the other one. I don't have it, so I can't say for sure. But yeah, so is it worth picking it up if you like some extra new characters? And, you know, that's pretty much about it. You get duplicate equipment cards if you like to have more options to draw them, but you might not. By the time you if you only pick up one set, yeah, having an extra set might not be bad. At least the upside is the other base game is Metropolis. So if you're like, yeah, this satisfied my Gotham need. I don't need a ton of the other Gotham stuff. I'm not super into Gotham, Batman stuff, but you want some extra stuff to go with your core base set that has Metropolis. You get different tiles, you can mix and match them. So it's pretty cool. Alright, that's what we got for this video. Again, I'm going to try and do a comparison to the Marvel version, because there's some different stuff in there. So you can decide which one. That'll be a separate video. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.